Hey, it's Mike with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Wednesday. It's September 18th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And we had a really nice downtrend today. Of course, the FOMC announcement here in the middle took up a good bit of that trend, unfortunately. We still had several good trades going into that. I mean, there's no reason you couldn't have had a couple of three wins before we ever even got to the 1 o'clock, before lunchtime, basically. So then afterwards, there was only one or two trades. So uh, anyway, the blue box there is basically from noontime until the volatility really got back to normal, which was, probably 1:30. Usually you have to wait 15 minutes to 30 minutes, somewhere in that range. Volatility will settle down. But one thing to always look for is prices will generally reset. So this started at 1 o'clock right here. This is really where the news started, right in here. Um, Generally what will happen, no matter which way prices go, they'll come back to that point and reset. In this case, we actually went right on past that and went right back to the highs of the day and actually made a new high for the day, which once the market digested the rate cut, I guess they like it. The traders liked it, and look at that rally. I mean, this is one of those few times. I mean, I tell you, occasionally you see some really good moves in the, after 2 o'clock, and this is one of those days. I still don't recommend trading this. Um, I generally like to be through at 2 o'clock because if you make a mistake up here, the thing about it is if you make a mistake at 9 or 10 in the morning, you've got all day to make it back. But if you make a mistake late in the afternoon, especially up in here around 2:30, 2 or so, you don't want to get enough movement or trades, you'll never make it back. And it gets in, and the worst thing that can happen is for you to enter a trade up here and get stuck in it and can't get out. You don't necessarily get a loser, but you can't get your target met, and you just kind of chop up and down, and then all of a sudden the market you get close to whatever time your broker kicks you out. Usually it's around 2:50 to 3 o'clock or so, and your broker will kick you out. And so wherever you're at when you get kicked out, you may take a loss. So it's, you just got to be careful trading late. So it's wanted to talk about that since we had that today. But let's talk about the trades. It won't take long today, but I want to show you a couple of other things that I'm getting a lot of questions on from a trader, and I want to try to help him understand um, about swing highs and swing lows. Um, but anyway, let's talk about the trades. Let me back out a little further just so it's easier to see. When I came in, we were, 7 o'clock hour prices are trading back up, and we've got a, if you draw your trend line here, this trades right. It fits on the bottom. We trade right back up into this, and you get a lower high right here. Because of this trend line, you got to be careful about going short right off of the larger downsloping trend. Um, so, and that's not a very good signal bar anyway. It's really an inside bar, and this is your signal bar. So see if you get a lower high, which actually we broke. We broke higher and turned all the way down here and closed lower. One tick below that bar is a great place to enter. That's your lower high, and you might even let it break lower here and come way back up here to this green one and put a sell stop right there and see if you can get that filled from this point right here. I probably wouldn't take a chance here because this thing may take off, and by doing that limit order strategy, yeah, you can get a better entry sometimes, but in a case of a downtrend, a lot of times you'll miss the best trades because it'll just take off without you. So I doubt I would risk that here. I just wait for this to close, or once it broke lower, if you got a chance, just drop a limit order in there and see if you might can get a little better entry off of this bar. I'd probably wait for this bar to close, but you may not. So rather than putting your limit order all the way up here, you might let it, when it broke lower, just drop a limit order maybe right at the low of that one, maybe a tick back. See if you get a little better entry on that particular bar before it even closes. So that's just another thought too. But this thing drops on down. You get a runner off of this, and you can ride this all the way to the bottom. And where would you want to probably exit? Where do you expect prices to bounce? Right down here at the trend channel line. So you might exit right into that line, or at least on the first bar that prices break higher after that, and that's this bar right here, so that probably would have got you out about the same place. So, and you can get almost every bit of that move by doing that. And then we pull back, you get a first entry, you try to go higher again, and it breaks higher and instantly turns down. And if it breaks below that, that's a second entry. And just make sure you got enough room to get out here. That's the key to this one. Turns out to be a good trade. The real problem with going short right here, or the only problem I should say, is the fact that we just came off the low of the trend channel line. So where prices, knowing the rules and what happens, where price is probably going back to test the trend line. So you got to be careful getting short down here. You need a good setup like this right here. This is a good setup. So I like that trade. Such a bearish bar as well. But if you didn't have much room to get out, and if this setup way down here, like somebody asked me about an entry right here, there's actually a failed second entry long right there, but you can't go short right there, right into those lows. It's not a good place. Even here is questionable. It's real close to being green just simply because we just came off of the low side. But there's actually a midline in here. And that's the difference in this trade that I marked and going short down here. Here I'm going short right off the midline and right off the EMA, and you get a double test of that EMA, and there's really a little high right here, and it's like a double test of that high as well. So, but that's the difference between this trade and entering down here, because I think somebody asked me about entering here. I can't remember. Maybe it was over here they entered. Right in here, I can't remember, but and you don't want to be looking for longs at all here. Yeah, you might catch a long back to this trend line, but it's not worth it. Just wait till you get your shorts, your short set up, and of course now you got a little trend line working up here. So you need a convincing close outside and new high, and sometimes you'll get two legs, but you get a close outside here. It's not real convincing, but you run up to a new high. You pull back, and then you run a second leg up, and then you actually get that one little last jog up before it turns down. That's a big, nice bearish bar. If you were a little further away from the EMA, I'd say with this close outside and two legs up to a new high, that yeah, you might go short below this bar. But it being right into the EMA, it's not worth it. Wait for the lower high, and that comes here, and that's still all one move down, and that's not much of a correction. So you need to wait on some kind of reversal pattern or failed second entry short or something like that. And then finally that comes right here. And notice that new high, first entry, second entry, and you actually get a little spike in channel here. So you may go short right there. And there's actually a, you know, you're testing this a few times here. And you made that high, you tested it once, you went lower, you came back, tested it again, you even tested it again with this bar before it broke lower. I like that one. Comes back, and finally now it gives you a sure double test because you got this high. Now you tested it once, you tested it twice. On a bigger picture, this would be a double test on a very smaller level, but on a bigger picture now you got a double test and another big bear. I wouldn't say a big bearish bar, but a nicely bearish bar with a very low risk. You'd probably take that. When it came back again here, I wouldn't take this one. This is really your signal bar. This is an outside bar, but you don't have much room here, and it's bounced a couple of times. This is looking like a range. I didn't draw the line down here because you're going into the 12 o'clock hour there, and we usually don't. You can see we're kind of going sideways. We're still trending downward here, but you got to be careful right there, especially going right into noon hour. It would have worked, and I wouldn't have a problem with actually managing a runner here. If you got in one of these and had a runner going, you'd be okay to hang on to this into the 12 o'clock hour. I just wouldn't carry it into the news. Actually, when this thing started climbing up here, I would have exited. But with two legs down here, I probably would have exited down here regardless on a runner. But that's me. So you may want to manage it and see if you could get a little further. But once we got up through here, you want to exit this. You don't want to take a chance of carrying this into the noon hour because look what happens. And you don't want to get caught up in this. So no trades in here. And again, it looks like it's kind of starting to get back to normal right here. And we just looks like we're kind of going sideways. We're still making lower highs and lower lows, so we're still trending down. And notice how when it got back down here, it got right back into the trend channel again. That's kind of odd. I mean, you see that sometimes, but it's just you would figure after making a break of this main trend line and a new low here that we'd probably reverse. But no, this thing just keeps going down. And when it does come back to more normal price action, it's really kind of sideways, but you can see we're still making lower highs and lower lows down through here. I went ahead and drew the trend channel because by the time we got over here, it definitely was a trend channel. You can see that. So, but the overall bias is still down at this point. We don't have anything that looks like a reversal pattern or anything that would make you want to go long. And notice you made a new low there, first entry, and you get a second entry right off that key entry point. Big bearish bar. I like going short on that one. There's a lower high here, but very neutral bar, and you don't have much room down to these lows. And you can see that's a dangerous place to enter. But notice we came back here, and you had this high. You tested it once. You tested it twice. On a bigger picture, we've tested it multiple times in there, but on a big picture, you can see there's two extra tests there. There's two tests of that level. And you do have enough room to get out before here. That bar itself, I don't really like, but this is more of an inside bar. It's still relatively bearish. It's still the high of a range, so we're probably going to at least test the low side. And we may get that little failed break lower, or we may continue lower for that matter, but my guess is you're going to get a failed break lower and try to rally out of here, which is exactly what happened. So you may take that one. I made it green because it's not a perfect signal bar. You're really taking an inside bar, and they're not nearly as reliable when you got an inside bar. But with everything going on here and the other reasons, the context, everything, I like that one still for at least an aggressive trade. And then of course we drop down, and unfortunately, I mean, I usually like to take these trades, but you get a very bearish bar, you get another very bearish bar with a lot of stem, and then a third very bearish bar with a lot of stem. They're making higher highs, but they're making equal lows. I don't see any of those that are going to make me take that. So hey, let's wait on a reversal pattern, which comes way up here. You're just kind of going sideways. You're not back to the EMA. I don't see anything there that makes me want to take that. I'd want to. You're really just going sideways. So you might wait and see if you get a little break lower here that bounces with a, and that's what happens. But you don't get a signal bar. So even though this is only just a couple of minutes after 2, there's no setup there, and you don't really get a good setup all the way up here. You could, this is a new swing low because look, it's lower than that swing low. So you made a new swing low right here. So you could count for a failed second entry short, which came here, but that's 230. So, and again, not a very good signal bar. Because on a failed second entry short, you don't really need that. So if that would have been off the trend line and it had been right in here, I'd say, hey, yeah, we might take that trade. But with this right here, nah, I'm not taking that. So there wasn't much happening after the news came out. And that's what makes trading really hard, is this is when you got to be super, super patient. And if you can't be patient, you're going to have trouble. So you can't force trades. You can't be late. You can't be early. You can't chase after trades because you missed the right entry. I get all those questions. They're all not just no, but heck no. That's a recipe for disaster. Discipline is so important in this. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They miss the trade and they see prices racing off without them and they go to chase it. And as soon as they enter, it reverses and stops them out. only to watch it in a little while go right back where they thought it was going to go. You can't chase trades. If you miss the trade, just sit patiently. There will always be another trade that comes along shortly. Some days they'll come quicker than others, but there will always be another trade. And no trade is better than a losing trade any day of the week. So keep that in mind. But anyway, I want to show you, I want to talk about swing highs and swing lows just to make sure. It's a really simple concept. It's basically first grade concept, but some people struggle with it until they understand it. Here's a good one because you got a little bit of movement here. Somebody was asking me today where the new, once you got here, where would be the new swing low? Well, just look back to the last swing low. Where is it? It's right here. There's the last time prices made a swing low. Here's the one last swing low previous to that one right here. Previous to that, it was this one right here. Previous to that, it was this swing low right here. And previous to that, it was a new low. Well, no, it's not a new low. That's a swing low right there. And this was a new swing low because it's lower than that one right there. This one was not a new swing low because it had to be lower than that one. So once you made this low, this was actually a new swing low because it's lower than that one. We're always just looking back to the next one. On the swing high, we made a new swing high right here because it's higher than that swing high. From here, there's the next swing high because it's higher than that one. From this one, you get your next swing high here because it's higher than this one. From this one, it's this swing high because it's higher than here. And then here's the last swing high because it's higher than here. And now we're making lower highs and lower lows. So now you're looking for the newest swing low. Well, where's the last swing low? Right here. So we make another one right here. There's the new swing low. Well, where's the next swing low? Right here. So now we got a new swing low. We make a low right here, but that's not lower than this one. So this is not a new swing low. So that would be a second entry short right there. And then finally we make a new swing low because it's lower than that one. Here we make another swing low because it's lower than this one. And this is kind of, really you could count this all as one swing because even you really are still in the same move down here. Those are three matching lows. So on a smaller time chart, there's probably a swing low there. But on this one, I would count this as a swing low. And then the next swing low is way down here because it's lower than that one. And then all of a sudden we make a higher swing low because it's higher than this one. So we don't make a new swing low again till here because it's lower than that one. From here, we make a higher swing low. Another higher swing low. Another higher swing low. These are really equal, but it's still, you could still count that as a whole new low because it's a double bottom. You count that as a new swing if you want. You count it either way. So I'd basically probably count that as a new swing low. And then right here you've got a new swing high because it's higher than that swing high. And now we're racing down again. There's your new swing low. Why? Because it's lower than that swing low. Now we're racing down. You get a new swing low right here. It's lower than that one. You actually get another new swing low right here because it's lower than that one. You run down. You get another swing low because it's lower than that one. This swing low right here is higher than this one, so now you got a higher swing low. Now you make another swing low, it's higher than that one, so you got a new swing low. Here you make a higher swing low because it's higher than that one. So you're running up and you come down and the next swing low is here. It's lower than that one, so you got a new swing low. You're running down again, you make a new swing low here because it's lower than that one. Now you're coming up and you're moving down again. And you make a new swing low right here. Why? Because it's lower than that last swing low. So you got a new swing low in place. So you're running up here and you make a swing low right there. Well, that's higher than this one. So you got a higher swing low now. Prices try to go higher and turn back down. Guess what? You make a new swing low right there because it's lower than that swing low. So now you got a new swing low in place. And here you got a swing high, you got a lower swing high. Now this one makes a higher swing high because it's higher than that one. It's just a tick, but it doesn't matter. It's still higher than that swing. It's a new swing high. So that's how you count swings. It's first grade concept. Yeah, trying to read directions. It's always easier to show you on a map or on a chart or a piece of paper and explain it in a video. So that's why I thought I'd talk about it, because sometimes people just can't grasp that concept for whatever reason, but it's first grade concept. It's really simple, and hopefully that makes it very clear for you. Uh, any questions, feel free to send me an email. I get a lot of questions on YouTube. I'll be honest with you, I'll only go on there and answer questions once in a blue moon. I just don't have time. So if you got a question, if you want me to answer it, you're better off to send it to me by email. And again, if you send me an email with a question about the chart, you got to send me a copy of the chart too, because I don't have time to go try to find the chart. With 50 or to 100 emails every day, I just don't have time to go dig out the chart or go back to the manual or anything like that. So please, hopefully you understand, I'm not trying to make it hard on you. I'm just trying to make it easy for me to help you, because if I have to go look them all up, I couldn't answer them all in a day, and I'd be days behind and probably could never answer all of them. So if you make it easy for me to answer, I'll always give you an answer. I never ignore answers. I always answer people. Try to keep them within reason. Try not to send me 10 questions a day. Try to wait till the end of the day. If you got 2 or 3 questions, that's great. But just try to keep it within reason, because you're not the only one asking me questions as well. So keep that in mind too. Most of you are pretty good about it. Some of you are, hate to even send me one question, but don't hesitate. If you got a question, send it to me. I'll answer it as soon as I can. If you don't hear right back from me, it probably doesn't mean I'm not going to answer it. It probably just means you're in the queue further back, and I'll get to it when I can. And the more complicated your question is, sometimes the longer it takes me to answer, because sometimes if it's really complicated, I'll just set it aside and keep answering the easy ones I can get rid of to kind of clean up my box, and then I'll come back to the more complicated one when I got more time. So keep that in mind. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow and wrap up our week. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.